Welcome. You're watching a Nexus Think Tank webinar hosted by Dr. Ashraf Alamaturi, bringing expert insights and evidence-based discussions on critical global issues.
So let me introduce our guest of honor, Her Excellency Ivonne A-Baki. It's my pleasure to introduce her, Excellency Ivonne A-Baki, an accomplished diplomat and peace negotiator. She is renowned for her crucial role in the Ecuador-Peru Peace Agreement. She has represented Ecuador as ambassador to the United States, France, Monaco, Qatar, and across several countries in the Middle East, including Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, Kuwait, Oman, and Syria. A leader in intercultural diplomacy, environmental advocacy, biodiversity, protection, and indigenous leadership, she is fluent in multiple languages and deeply committed to fostering global understanding. Now, as a strong candidate for the Secretary General of the United Nations, we are honored to hear her vision and insight today. Welcome, Your Excellency Ivonne A-Baki.
Thank you, Ashraf. What a pleasure to be with you. It's really an honor for you and for me to be here.
Thank you. The honor is us. So it's very important and special webinar, as it's our first one, and it's more special that we have you with us today.
It's the first one. Oh, I didn't know it's the first one.
Yes, with Nexus Think Tank and also Nexus Institute for Jewish Studies. So if I may start it by asking you, you have lived across continents and cultures, Latin America, the Middle East, Europe. When you think about identity, what parts of it never change, no matter where you are?
That's a great question, Ashraf. You know, that's something I've been not bothering, but on the contrary, I feel I belong wherever I am. When I'm here in the United States now, I feel I'm American. When I'm in Ecuador in South America, I feel I am from there. When I'm in Lebanon, I'm Lebanese. I'm Lebanese 100% and Ecuadorian 100%. But also wherever I am, I feel at home. And I think it's because of living in different places and because belonging to different cultures. And also, when I was raised and born in Ecuador, we were born and I thought we were Catholic because everybody in Ecuador is Catholic. I didn't know I was a Druze until I went to Lebanon. And when I went to school, I was only 13 years old when I went to Lebanon. And the first question they asked me, what's your religion? You know, in Lebanon, everything is based on religion. And I said, I don't know. I thought everybody was a Catholic. I was a child. And I came back home and I asked my father, what is our religion? And my father answered me this. He said, don't answer that question. Just tell them that you believe in God if you believe. Look at the freedom of it. But then, of course, I knew I was a Druze. And I was very proud to be a Druze because there's a lot of values. But I have lived in so many different cultures that for me, religion is part of what you believe, your connection with God, and the values you get from the family values, from the different cultures, and understanding that everyone has something to give, regardless of religion, of color, of nationality. We are all human beings. We are all the same. That's what I feel.
Nice, nice. Thank you very much. So it looks like you have you adapted to multiple identities and cultures. And have you ever felt that your identity was being tested?
Never. I never felt that I was tested. But I will tell you something. When I came, I lived in Ecuador first until I was 13, and then in Lebanon all through the war. I got married Sami Abdelbaki, a Druze, also one of the leaders of the Druze He was the one that made that Taifid Derziye. So
Wow.
I was born, the war started, and it was really terrible what's going on. My children were all born under the bombs. They didn't see, except Beirut, they didn't see the beauty that I saw when I arrived in the late 60s. So for them, it was only the bombs, and that's how they got used to it. But when I left back to the United States in 1987, I felt that really nobody asked me anything here in the United States. Nobody asked me what my religion was, what my color, what my background. Just I was accepted as a human being. In Ecuador, I was a foreigner because I was Lebanese. In Lebanon, I was a foreigner because I was Ecuadorian. In the United States, nobody asked me until September 11 happened. After September 11, and I was ambassador at that time here in Washington, after September 11, things changed. And it's sad because this was a place of migration, of people coming. The wealth of the United States is about diversity. And I felt that that changed up to September 11.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that. Thank you. So that leads me to my second question, that many communities today, actually indigenous communities as well, like the Druze, are deeply rooted, but also under pressure from conflict and displacement.
Yeah.
From your experience, what actually keeps a community intact when everything around them is not stable?
Yeah, that's really very sad. And I know what you're asking because of what we have passed through in the Druze, especially now recently in Syria. I felt very bad about what's going on. You know, this takes us never give up. The strength of the Druze is being together always and defending each other and being in the center as a minority. We are accepted by everyone. And everyone loves the Druze. When I say I'm a Druze, they say, wow, you are a very small group, but you are very strong. And I will tell you why. My husband taught me a lot about the Druze. I didn't know about the Druze, and it's a secret religion. And that the book of the Druze is Al-Hikmah, the wisdom book. So it's the wisdom, it's a philosophical religion that connects us to the higher level of spirituality and belief, and we accept the different religions. We don't antagonize the Islam or Christianity or Buddhism or whoever, whatever. We always be part of it by keeping our own. Don't forget, we don't have a church. We don't have a place where we go and pray. We do it with us, with ourselves, and we connect to the higher level. And by the way, I believe in reincarnation because the Druze is based also on the reincarnation. And I didn't know that when I always believed in reincarnation because I felt always that there is something that we already know. It's in the past. So we carry this and we never feel that we don't have to remember what we were. Maybe it's in our DNA because when you meet a person, you feel that you know this person from another life. And you understand the difference of thinking, of cultures, of identities, of even different places that are not part of our DNA. I mean, like we are, I feel, for example, when I was in Asia, I felt very connected with the people in Asia, whether it's China, because they say that our reincarnation was maybe in China too. So I feel that's a plus for us. Though we are a minority, we are connected with all over the world because of this past lives.
Very, very nice. Thank you very much for sharing this personal and spiritual and actually your life. It has been like that. So thank you very much for sharing that. So also you were an advocate for indigenous leadership.
Yes.
And Could you please tell us more about that? Because it looks like there's a connection coming from a minority. You also get to know other people, either if they are from majority culture or indigenous minority cultures. Do you like to share something about that with us?
Yes, that's something that I care very much, because when I was heading the Yasuni project in the Amazon, with the indigenous communities of the Amazon, another connection I felt with them of a previous life that was part of what I am. And it was amazing because they have such a wisdom that it's in their tradition that we cannot lose. I mean, they are amazing group of people, the indigenous communities everywhere. I'm just talking about the Amazon because that's when I met the indigenous of the Amazon. They are, they are in the Amazon of Ecuador, in the Yasuni National Park, which is the highest biodiversity in the world. And there are two indigenous communities in voluntary isolation, the Tagaeres and Taromenanis, that they have a huge wisdom, but they are not connected with people. So their wisdom and their knowledge is taken by the other indigenous that live in that area. And the shamans, they have something that we should really use for the purpose of health. If you want to say health, they have all the natural medicines that we haven't used 1/1,000 of what they have. Imagine in this place of the Amazon of Ecuador, because the Yasuni National Park is the size of Lebanon, 10,500 square kilometers.
Wow.
The pharmacy of the world, because we haven't used that medicine, and they know it. It's the knowledge they have. The shamans, they know that this can cure any disease of the world. Many scientists came when I was doing the project, when I was trying to negotiate to keep the oil underground and be compensated, but what we have over the land, because what we have over is by far more than what we have underground. The variety of the different plants that are medicines. So these scientists, they told me once, they said, for every disease in the world, in your Amazon, in your part of Ecuador, the Amazon, you can find the medicine for it. And we haven't discovered it yet. So can you imagine this wisdom that the indigenous people there have? So it cannot be just disregarded. We have to not use them, but learn from them and from their wisdom and from every plant that they know it has something specific for every disease, including cancer,
That's great. That's great. Yeah. It looks like also the language and the culture are very rooted. They have even the name rooted in the language itself, with their culture. So that's really very fascinating for me. I can speak for days about that since I'm very interested in intercultural communication. Actually, I teach it, so I have a passion for that. So this is wonderful.
Passion. We should do a program about the Yasuni, because it's really, until the oil has been exploded. When I was trying to keep it, it was supposed to be intact. It is part of it, the center of it. It's still kept, but it was too avant-garde. It was before its time. So they didn't understand when we presented the project that if it was now, it will be an example to the world. It still is, but it will be something that should never be touched. And it's the lungs to the world in a way.
Exactly. So it looks like minority diasporas and indigenous people. So do you think that they can have voice more if they use more institution, leadership, culture, or something less visible?
I think we should get together and talk more about, what is the institutions. I mean, if you're talking about the United Nations, for example, it should be a place where this kind of dialogues should be put into consideration for the purpose of what we spoke about, for helping humanity. Another thing that the minorities and diasporas, they are the basis of development, you know. They get together, but they know how to open up to other minorities. And when you accumulate the minorities, you become a majority.
That's right.
But different wisdom. So you have to put yourself in their place and learn from them and listen. We have 2 ears and a mouth, and we speak more than we listen. And to listen to their wisdom, to listen to each one, what they can bring to the table. And by doing that, we can unite the world and the United Nations in a different way. So I think I stop there because I don't want to get too much into details of how, but I think that's leadership. It's to listen to different positions and different cultures and different minorities, that they feel that they are put aside. We should include everyone and try to get the best of everyone and make it. We are in the global moment now. The globalization is created this interconnection that now you put a button and you're connected and you know more in a second on what's happening in the end of the other place in the world. So I think this is the moment to use this technology that we have, the AI and all that we have, to unite everyone and to take the best of each culture and make it into something global, because that's what's missing in the world now. And I will say something, maybe it's because I'm a woman, but the missing ingredient is empathy, love, something that I think the sixth sense of a woman that a woman has, because I don't think a woman will accept that her child can be killed by a bomb. So we have to prevent wars. And the way to prevent wars is to understand cultures. It's a different culture. The war in Venezuela, it's different than the war in Iran. The different cultures, they have different ways of seeing things and accepting things. So we need to put ourselves in the place of the others if we want to be real leaders and negotiators.
Thank you very much. That's a very good segue to my second question, actually, that you covered really well. Diasporas often feels emotionally close, but politically distant. What's the differences between a diaspora that reacts and the one actually influences outcomes?
You know, I agree that you are saying that, because sometimes when people travel and like my family, my father and my uncles, they left Lebanon during the First World War and they went to Latin America and they melted with the society. It's true. They become what they came, and they're working there. But I think the values never change. And this is the richness of diaspora, that the values are still there, whether they are far away, they still keep that. They blend because they have to, and they feel they belong to the place where they go. But they never felt, and this is when culture comes, and culture is not, it's more the arts. I say the arts, they are the music, gastronomy, you know, all this that makes us feel and remember our past. Like, for example, in the Arab world, we like music, Fairuz. You remember all this. Then the food, Rizq Allah, al-Ayyam Lebanon. Yani you go back to your past and you bring it to your present in the place where you are. If you take, I say my example is in Ecuador, the Lebanese community is very united in Ecuador. It's true, there are no Druze community because we were the only ones and they were converted. My family in Ecuador is Catholic, the Juez family. But, and many others, they were Muslim and others that they converted to Christianity there, but they never forget their values and they always remember that. And it's inside of us, so we don't change it. So I think this is something that enriches other cultures that we are part of. So we should make it into see it as something positive, not negative. Yes. Because being, for example, as I'll take myself as a Druze, what is the values that Druze have? that they can understand other religions because they are the center. By not having a church or a mosque, we are alone constantly, but we understand the others, and we go, but we never forget that we have wisdom inside, and this wisdom helps the others integrate. For example, my children, I never told them be this or be that or be Catholic, be Druze. You have the freedom of choice, like my father taught me. But they come back to it because they believe in it. They believe in the values of the Druze religion. They believe in the wisdom of this philosophical religion. And each religion has something like that. And we all believe in God, if you believe in God. So there is something in common, but that's, I think it's a plus, not a minus for the diaspora you are mentioning, the separation that you feel from the others. I think no, it all depends on how you see it. And I know that the new generation, they are seeing it very different than when we are before. They are teaching us now things that we cannot even believe. They don't believe anymore that the religion is the basis of everything. It's for them, it's the stone, like they feel that it's the backbone of what they have inside, but they don't have to divide themselves from the rest. They like inclusion. My grandkids are the ones that teach me now. They teach me. Before it was my children, now it's my grandchildren, because they are born with a different chip. And they don't care about what is religion. They say it's a spiritual connectivity with a higher level of consciousness. I agree. It's a higher level of consciousness. We have to accept that they are living in another world now. We cannot take them back to what we wanted to. So we have to be flexible in this new world that is so interconnected and so similar. We're one, and they want to know other cultures because they enjoy having the other cultures. My grandkids love Korean culture. I don't know why, but they love Korean, and even they speak Korean. I mean, they speak Arabic, French, English, Spanish, everything, but they're studying Korean because they love it. So it's becoming another world, and we have to put them now first. Listen to them more, because it's for them, the world now. It's not for us. We did it. It's now their turn to choose what they really want from this new interconnected world that they are all minorities everywhere.
Indeed, they are. Yeah, yeah. Great. So you have used art, culture, and dialogue as a tool for diplomacy.
Yes.
And also, you have a book, Masiri, or My Destiny, that so you published in many languages. So do you think, can culture succeed where politics fails?
Yes. Yes. I think politics, the word politics, for the people. It's for the people. We forget what is politics. It's for the people. It's for understanding culture. It's for understanding the human. So when we arrive into politics, we arrive because of the people, right? To serve them. And we start forgetting, and we serve ourselves, and we think that we know everything. And at the end, you know nothing. I mean, it's them. It's for them. So we have to continue listening to the changes that are happening. For me, I think culture moved me into politics. I was an artist, as you know. When you are an artist, you'll never stop being an artist. I was a painter, and I started painting in Lebanon after the war because I couldn't say in words what I felt, and I started painting women as a symbol of unconditional love for peace. My life was always for peace. And when I went to Harvard, as an artist in residence, that's what my invitation first was. Before I entered the Kennedy School, it was the artist in residence of Harvard University, the first position they did. And I asked them, what do you have to do? And they said, well, you have to give a class of arts and do whatever you want. So I created a foundation. My foundation at Harvard was the Arts for Peace Foundation. So I was using arts, all kinds of arts, the visual, the music, the gastronomy, poetry, dancing, everything, as a means for peace. The first exhibition we had when I had this foundation, it was Israel and Palestine. So we brought Israelis and Palestinians. It was in 1991, I think, when there was the Camp David meetings. It was Clinton was president at that time. And I remember they were fighting, the Palestinians and Israelis, because of the painting of one of the Palestinians that was the map of Palestine as a painting, not as a real. And the Israeli didn't want to have that map. And I said, look, either we put the exhibition down and we cancel this event, or everything stays. You can express yourself the way you want. You can express. This is art. This goes beyond politics. And it was amazing because they stayed. And when the music started, the band of the music were Palestinians and Israelis playing music together. It broke the ice. They started embracing each other, crying because of what happened, dancing together. The food was similar. It's all the same. We are from the same part. We're Semitics. We are all from the same. We came from the same place. So this is what art and culture does. It brings you back as a human being, as an equal. And it helps diplomacy and negotiations very much. Always I used to do the arts, and then the next day I will do a lunch or a dinner with the politicians. And they will talk together with the professors at Harvard and the artists on how to find solutions for the problems that we have. And I think if they use that, even now, look what's going on now, the wars that are going on. If they look at the background of what they have and the culture that they belong to, I think that's when culture plays a more important role than politics.
Nice. Thank you very much. So it looks like it can work, hopefully, from your experience. So I hope that people who are listening now can apply some of it, or really take it to the other generation as well. So
and the Peru War was something that was very marked also when I was in Harvard. The war between Ecuador and Peru started in 1995. And at that time, I was doing negotiations with Professor Roger Fisher, the guru of negotiations, and Herbert Kellman. We were negotiating peace in the Middle East. I went to Harvard as a Lebanese Ecuadorian, and I wanted to make peace in the Middle East. That was my dream, peace in the Middle East, because I lost my parents, and directly because of the war, because I saw people being killed in front of me and I couldn't do anything. And because my daughter, that was only 4 years old when the war was really very bad, my husband was a believer that wherever you are, you die. You don't have to go to the basement in the shelter. And the bombing was so bad in that year, it was 81, 82, from the air, from the sky, and from the air, from the earth, from the water, from the oceans. And we lived at Raushi. It was open, the last floor. So bombings were coming everywhere. And there was a moment that I told Sami, we have to go to the shelter. He said, okay. So we went down, there was no electricity, and it was at night, and we had to go the stairs. When we arrived in the 4th floor, from the 10th floor and the 4th floor, we couldn't move anymore. The bombings were so bad that we had to stand on line. And my daughter, that was 3-4 years, she looked at me and she said, Mommy, are we going to die? I said, no, we are not going to die, Tatiana. We're not going to die. And I promised myself, and I promised God, that I will work all my life for peace. And that's why I went to Harvard to do my master's in public administration, public policy, but also negotiations with Roger Fisher. So coming back to 1995, at that time, it was the beginning of the war between Ecuador and Peru, and I was representing Ecuador in Boston as an honorary consul general. So he calls me, the president called me, and he said, Yvonne, we are having a war that started just now, and I would like to speak with Professor Fisher. I know you are in the conflict management group. And no coincidences. They were having dinner at my place in Boston, in Cambridge. We were having dinner at my home with Professor Fisher and all the conflict management group. So I passed the phone to the president with Roger Fisher. And after 3 days, we were in Ecuador. And my life changed. I became negotiator for peace with the conflict management group. And it was a historic negotiation. It took 3 years. And the president that was, we helped him be president, Jamil Mawad, a Lebanese Ecuadorian who became president, with President Fujimori. What we did is they became the best friends before in order to be able to negotiate. They were enemies, but they became the best friends. And that's how, by having trust in each other, they could generate the peace that was a historic peace after 3 years in 1998, the 26th October 1998, in Brasilia, in Brazil, that was a guarantor countries. We had 4 guarantor countries. The United States, Clinton was president. Brazil, Fernando Enrique Cardoso was the president. And in Argentina, Carlos Menem, another Lebanese, Syrian Lebanese, was president. And Eduardo Frei in Chile, and of course, Ecuador and Peru. So we signed a historic peace with the guarantor countries. And it was an example to the world of what is possible to make when you have, it was a war that was for hundreds and hundreds and maybe thousands during the Incas started. And I was raised in Ecuador as a child to hate Peru because they took half of our land. Ecuador was 555,000 square kilometers. And when they took, the land was taken, it was half, 252,000 square kilometers. So that's how we were raised. Peruvians were not raised that way, so they didn't know. So when we were negotiating, we created 2 groups and we exchanged places. The Peruvians became Ecuadorians, the Ecuadorians became Peruvians. That's what Roger Fisher did, the negotiations. And we started seeing that we have so many things in common, that what we have in common is more than what our differences are. And that's how the peace was done. And it's going on now. We are the best friends. So peace is possible when you trust, when you put people together and you put yourself in the place of the other and you say, we have to find a way. And the win-win is a lose-lose. You have to give up and give up for peace. So that's what's missing now, still in the Middle East. Inshallah khair bas راح يصير inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah. So it's as you say that Ecuador and Peru, it was a historic breakthrough, and you had a crucial role in that negotiation. So just if you can reflect in one aspect, that is there a moment in a negotiation where everything can either collapse or come together?
Yes, exactly. That's a good, this is the tipping point. That was another class that I learned from Professor Ronald Heifetz, the leadership professor at Harvard. From Roger Fisher, getting to yes, the fantastic win-win. But from leadership, you can push to a certain point, but you have to feel, as a leader, you have to know how much you can do it, because you can blow it in one small different line if you push too much. So you cannot get the problem into a level of damaging it because of one small thing that could change the whole negotiation. So that's how you have to always have a woman negotiation. There were 10, 5 and 5, Peruvians and Ecuador. I was the only woman. I'm not saying because we women feel things before they happen. We know until when we can push. And when it's no more, it will damage everything we have done. It can be gone to the garbage. So that's why I think women and men should be working together for peace. A woman can never accept to have a nuclear weapon that is killing people. What for? I mean, we should stop nuclear weapons. A woman cannot accept her child to be killed, and she will do anything to stop that or prevent the war from happening. So in order to prevent, you have to know how much you can push, because it could blow up everything just by another small thing that you do, that it's a mistake sometimes because of egos, just because of ego.
That's really nice. So So that you really brings a very important conversation, that women in the leadership and diplomacy. So did being a woman ever give you an unexpected advantage in negotiation?
I think yes. That's a good. I think yeah, being a woman, it's an advantage. People say it's you feel less. I don't think so. I love men and I think you're brilliant, but I think women have this extra sixth sense that not being as brilliant maybe or being, but we can prevent the problem from happening. We are native, we are born negotiating. With our children we have to negotiate every day, with the husband we have to negotiate. So we are negotiators, innate negotiators, because we always try to find the priority of each side, because the priorities are different. What's the priority of Israel? Security. What's the priority of the Palestinians? Land. The same with children, the same. They always fight because they want something different than that. You have to ask, you have to talk with them in order to know what is the priority, why they want this and why they want that. And you'll find a solution for both.
That's really nice. Thank you very much. So speaking of understanding both of them, so a lot of communities talk about preserving identity, but few turn it into a global influence. How do you translate cultural identity into something that's move policy, partnerships, or perception?
You know, identity is very, very important, and cultural identity also. But we are living in a world that it's more global, and it blends identities. They are no more like it used to be before. So if I ask you, what's your identity? What will you say?
Exactly. So it's a mixed identity. So yeah, it's coming from academia, coming like a father, coming from the Middle East. So it's a mixed. You're right. It's a mixed. So it's influenced by many factors. So I can speak a lot about my identity now, and maybe I can express things that I know, and sometimes things I discover about my identity.
Exactly, exactly, because we are, this is consciousness. You know, you are connected with every identity, with every place in the world. We are connected. We push a button, we can ask any question and it's answered by a machine now. But beyond that, wherever you are in a place now and you ask in a table of eight, you will find at least 16 different identities of eight people, because even one person has different identities than just what they are. Uh, they have different cultures in their own self. They belong to different places at the same time. So you can't just say one thing, it's we're all different identities. We are interconnected and our identities are interconnected. And we belong to every identity, whether we want it or not, we're part of it now. So we have to find global solutions because of different identities. So it's not just a carte, you know, a la carte. You know, it's not that this is works here, this works here. That's why democracy, we have to see what is democracy now, because democracy is about majority, right? What is the majority? Aren't we all minorities blend into majorities?
That's right.
So democracy is about, and I will say that now, and even in the United States it's disappearing, democracy, because of the middle class. The strong democracy is when you have a strong middle class, a majority of middle class, not identity, but a majority of middle class. It's about the economy. It's about a strong middle class. It's when they can dream to become better because they have economic stability that can do something. But when you have the extremes, extreme rich and extreme poverty, and the two sides, that's why you have the pendulum. We go from the left to the right, extreme left and extreme right, and the extremes are negative from both sides. So we are losing democracy, which is the strength of the United States. It's being lost because of extremes. So we have to come back again to this, and I will link that with the identity, because identity is not just your cultural background or where you are from. It's about where you live and how can you blend as a middle class is strong, that you can have dignity and a job and a dream to become better and to be able to have your children study or become more than you. So this is what is missing in the world, a strong middle class and not going to extremes. We're going to extremes, we are losing it because of extremes.
Building on that, it looks like the world today feels more fragmented than ever.
Yes.
What needs to change in how diplomacy is practiced if you want to more stable societies, in your opinion?
I think we should start by being less, how would I say it? It's becoming a way of ambition. Everybody wants more. We are educating our children and the new generation in a way that power and success, or success is about power and wealth, not values. We are for values. I remember the best class I used to have in Ecuador was the class of civics and ethics. We used to arrive to school when I was 3-4 years old. I started with the national anthem, the respect of the flag, enter the class. And my favorite class was the civics and the ethics. It doesn't exist anymore in any place. No school teaches that. They teach you success is about power and money, no matter how. So we are creating a generation of people that they don't have anymore this kind of values that are the basis for democracy and majority. So we have to go back to education now. Education has to be changed. I think it's becoming, hopefully it's becoming more because of technology and AI, but that's the missing ingredient. And that's why when people are left, like those that go into terrorism and drugs, and you know what's going on in our countries in Latin America, also human trafficking and child trafficking, and all these horrible things that are happening. It's because when you have nothing to lose, you don't have a job, you're not accepted in society, you are considered as something that you have nothing to lose. We are creating a society of those that have nothing to lose, and they will become human bombs or terrorists or anything because they have nothing to lose. So we have to be very careful of why this is happening in the world. And it's because of that lack of education, lack of civics, lack of making that success is not just about having money and power, that it's more important to have values and the lack of love. You know, I say there are two emotions in a human being: fear and love. The majority is living in fear because there is no love. So we have to come back to the beginning, how it was, the family, strong family values. Druze, more Druze. We need more Druze in the world.
Yeah, well said. You redefine majority and minority in a beautiful way, actually. So that's leads me to rethink the word minority. Really, in many minorities communities now, they feels invisible in global decision making. So as a person now, you are a strong candidate to be the Secretary General of the United Nations. So what does it really take to get international institutions to pay attention for those minorities to have their voices heard globally?
That's why the United Nations was created. It was created after World War II to prevent a third world war. With the nations, small and big, it started with 55 nations, and now it's 193. And we have to change the system, how it works. I mean, it's a place where you bring everyone for dialogue, for preventing a war, for putting yourself again in those minorities and bringing them in and talking with them and asking their problems, not sitting in an office in bureaucracy around a machine and just sending the same solution to every place in the world. Everyone is different. We have to understand what the problems are. We are seeing more wars, more divisions, more diseases, more economic problems, and nobody has hope. And when you lose hope, you lose everything. We have to bring back hope. We have to bring back trust in the United Nations. We have to change the bureaucracy and make it an action place. I mean, not reaction, because when you react, you lose. You have to act, prevent the reaction. When you react is when the problem is already there. You have to not find solutions, but prevent the problem so that you have to have solutions that go to the places where they need it, not because of a war, but because of the need of what they need. And what the majority need, what is it? Be seen, be heard. What Africa needs is something different than what the small island development states need. And every place has something. Those in the small islands, they want security because of the environmental issues, because of the water that's going up, because of the climate change. So they have something different than Africa needs. So you have to see and listen to every place to prevent the problems from arriving. When the problem arrives, it takes triple and more, sometimes 4 times more money, more time, more pressure, and you never know if it can go to a war, a civil war, or a bigger war. And now we have to be very careful because we are dealing with fire. And it could happen any second that when we spoke about pushing too much of something, it could blow up everything by a third world war that is on the steps of happening if we don't interfere before it's too late. So the United Nations is created for that, and they are not doing it. They are not doing it. It's sad to say it, but it has to be, I would not say modernized only, but it has to be according to the time that we're living now. And with technology, artificial intelligence, I don't call it artificial because it's a human intelligence. It's the accumulation of human intelligence that you create, this special intelligence. We can do so much more. And so it takes a group of like-minded people that believe that the world is a small home for us and we don't have another one. This is our home. This world is our home, that we have to save it. And I think there are people like you and others that we've been talking with that are very aware of the dangers, and they want really to change and to use the United Nations for this purpose, to being a place where they can come, the leaders, sit and talk. You have to talk with your enemy. Your friend, you have it. Your enemy, you have to speak. And in the high level that they can take the decisions, not the bureaucracy that comes and they go back and they back and back again and they never arrive to any solution.
So thank you. That's really what we need now in this fragmented, and as you said, it's on fire right now. Anywhere you see, people are suffering around the world. So as a candidate, strong candidate for this really big leadership role in the United Nations. So what vision and what changes you will bring to the table to make this place is more accessible for different communities around the world?
Because I've lived in different worlds and because I belong to different places, I understand. I put myself always in the place of the other. I understand the cultures. As I told you from the beginning, every culture is different than the other, and you have to deal with them in a different way to have an outcome that is different than what you are having now. And we are using everyone like they were the same. So I will, as I told you, I want to put this experience I've had in every position I've had, whether it was as an artist, when I was living in the Middle East during the war, whether it was when I became ambassador after signing the peace between Ecuador and Peru in Washington. And it was an incredible experience being in Washington the first time and now the second time. By also, when I ran for president of Ecuador, it was an amazing experience because I understood my country, Ecuador, back. I didn't even know. I left when I was 13 and I came to run for president. I understood because Ecuador we have 5 regions that are completely different than each other. We have the Amazon with the indigenous communities. We have the Andes, the mountains with a different indigenous community and the altitude of 3,000, 4,000, 4,500 meters high. It's completely different than the Amazon. We have the coastal area that is completely another, the sea level, and it's completely another mentality, another culture, another food, another gastronomy. Everything is there. And then you have the Galapagos Islands, the best islands in the world, that are an example to the world, that I've protected. I helped do the debt swap for environment of the Galapagos, the blue bonds, to monetize the environmental protection. So I've been there. And then when I was elected for the parliament of the Andean region, the 4 countries, Ecuador, Colombia, Peru, Bolivia, and Chile, 5 countries, unanimous, I became president of the parliament. So I saw these different things from the legislative, from the executive branch, from the cultural branch, for the living in the Middle East, being in Qatar. When I was in Qatar ambassador, I was covering the whole Arab region, mostly 7 countries, seeing that it was the blockade at that time with Qatar, and I learned what's going on. And then being in France, the last position in Europe, and I saw something equal in all of this that is unique to all of them. Whoever you ask, any person, I like to talk a lot with people, the ones that are driving me, the one that's serving me, I like to speak and I ask, what is it for you, happiness? What is happiness and what would you like to have? You know the answer what it is? Everyone. I want to live in peace, to have a job that gives me dignity. I don't want to be given for free. I want to have a job that gives me dignity and to be included in society as a human being. That's the answer of every single person that I've met, whether I was in those positions, talking with them. So what comes to out? I told you, we're living in a world that is very small, interconnected, and everyone wants peace, security, a good job, and being accepted in society as a human being, included in society as with dignity. So it's not difficult. Everyone could have that. And that's what the power of the United Nations is. Those kind of things are made for having the people in different regions of the world have that dream come true. That's hope. That's giving a human being the dignity that they need in order for them not to go and become human bombs or go into terrorism or go into delinquency or go into drugs or go into human trafficking and hate and more hate, because when you kill and violence generates more violence and more hate, and we're having a vicious circle of hate and revenge. This is enough. We have to stop this. And this is the UN that we have to have. A place where everybody could come and be seen as a human being and listen to what the problems are in order for them not to go into that. That's not to see, and it's not difficult. It just takes leadership and having, because leadership is not one person. Nobody can be a leader. It's the group. And the genius idea for change, it's the group that generates that. You have to have the right group of people that have passion for that. And they believe in that from different places of the world. I will choose from every place of the world someone that really, or many, that really believe in that. And the young generation has to be part of this because it's a different world now. The youth, they want something completely different of what we wanted before or what we want still now. And we think that this is the solution and it's not for them. It's completely different.
Thank you. So, yeah, well said. So really, it's very powerful, and it needs all the leaders really to listen to that and to integrate that into their daily practice. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. So today we have a lot of young people in diaspora communities, especially young women are watching us today. What would you tell them about their role in shaping the future?
To the young, I tell them, have hope. The future is in your hands now, and you can do everything you want. And for women, don't give up. We need you. It's an obligation for women to be involved in every position where they can lead, not just be the second or the third or the fourth. No, to be together with men leading in the first position so they can make a difference. Prepare yourselves. Don't ever feel that you are less. Feel that you are the best because you are the best.
Thank you. So if it's okay, there are a lot of questions from our attendees. I'm sorry that we might not have the time to answer all those questions. So I will choose some of them. One question, how can advocacy groups maximize the effectiveness of their advocacy effort in the UN?
What is it? Say here. What can what?
Advocacy groups.
Advocacy groups.
Maximize the effectiveness of their advocacy effort in the UN? Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, I think, yeah, advocacy groups are very good. That's what I'm saying. When you get together, you have to have a program, not a program. You have to have what you want and what you want to accomplish. And who is the ones that we have to work for this advocacy.
Mudar asked a question. I like the way you explained Druze identity. How do you recommend that we introduce our Druze identity to those who have never heard about it?
Ooh. Why they have never heard about the Druze identity? I think the Druze, you're right about. I used to before, long time ago, they will not know much. But now, the Druze identity is very well known, I think, whoever I speak with. But you can say we are the blending of everything that created wisdom. What is the definition of wisdom? Wisdom is what remains when we have learned everything and forgotten everything. That's why I'm saying reincarnation is the basis of the Druze, because wisdom, the hikmah, الكتاب الحكمة اللي هي تبع الدروز, wisdom is the definition of what we have learned. You learn everything. Okay, you have it, you absorb it, maybe from previous lives you have it, and you forget it. When I come to speak in a place or something, I don't prepare. I just remember the past, something that comes back. And this is what I think the Druze have, the accumulation of wisdom with time that is inside and we don't know it. When I learned Arabic, Ashraf, really, I was in Lebanon and I spoke only Spanish when I arrived. I was 13 years old, only Spanish. I used to hear my parents talking in Arabic, but they never spoke with me in Arabic. And I had to learn Arabic, French, and English to enter school. So in 3 months, I had to learn Arabic. And you know what I felt? I did mistakes, of course I was, but I felt I was remembering because I heard my parents, because there was something before, and it came automatic. It's just, you have to remember. And the Druze is that. It's remembering the wisdom of the past, and it comes back. So we are unique. We are a unique religion.
Thank you.
And you should be proud about that. I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud. And we can be in any place. The only Druze in Israel are the Druze that are there.
Yeah, yeah.
We always belong. We always belong. We always stay. We blend. We are part of this. Everybody,
Exactly.
we have that part of values that never change.
Yeah,
and wisdom.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of research they say that Druze usually blended quickly in any culture
Yeah.
where they travel to. I have actually a comment from Susan, and she said, "It's really a pleasure to meet you virtually, Yvonne. I have heard so much about you from my father, who was also a diplomat serving in Venezuela. I'm truly proud to see such an accomplished Druze woman like yourself. We were also happy to hear some great news related to your candidacy to the Secretary General position with the UN, praying you'll be elected."
Oh, thank you, Susan. That's very kind. I want to meet you. Also, give her my number.
Sure. um, said, I have a question. He said that in today's post Westphalian words of states, ethnic and religious minorities like the Druze can feel like they are invisible and don't have a seat at the table. What do you propose are some of the solutions to give our community and similar minorities a voice in our global system? And Saeed is Canada.
From other schools, why we don't have a seat at the table? That's what they're asking mostly, right? What do we do to have
Exactly.
a
So
seat on the
just minority like the Druze can feel like they are invisible and don't have a seat on the table. What do you propose are some of the solutions to give to our communities and similar minorities a voice in our global system?
we have to get together. We have to have a group of Druze from everywhere. I think in the United States there's a lot of, and in Ottawa, she's in Canada. So whoever is asking in the Canada, I think we should get more together. I know that the Druze they have the group of, but we can. Everybody wants to know more about us, but because secret religion and we cannot explain what it is. My husband, he was knowledgeable about that and he explained to me, but it's not a known religion. I think we should be more vocal, more open, and talk more about what the Druze represent and why we're different. Nobody can be converted into Druze, so we're a minority because of that. Maybe if we open up, it will be a majority, but we are a minority because you are born a Druze or you are not. So I think we should speak more about it. That's why I wanted to be in this webinar, because I wanted to speak with the Druze and to say, let's make it more known. Let's open up what the Druze represent, because now the world needs more people that think this way. And I'm very proud of what we are. And I think this should be something that um, will get us to have a seat on the table and beyond.
So I'm going to say that quoting from what you have said, I cannot agree with you more that the world needs more women leaders for many reasons. In addition to what you mentioned, based on your intensive cross-cultural experience, where do you see Druze standing at this point comparing to other religious ethnicities in the Middle East? In other words, how do you rate the Druze tolerance to men and women equally or equality? How do you rate Druze inclusivity skills in their community? What should we do more to improve this inclusive within our community?
We should have to get to know each other more. I think this is something that now with technology we can do. We can get together more. I don't know how many Druze are in the United States or in. Idea. We should start working with different Druze in different places. The problem with the Druze is that when we arrive to a place, we melt with the rest and we forget that we are Druze. Really. If it wasn't because we're talking now, I never mentioned that mostly, except when they ask me. But I think that's like, for example, Christians, they speak, they have their groups, they have Muslims also. I like the way we are because I think we are unique. But if we want to be more known, then we should start opening up and talking about it more and pushing out our values, because our values are of acceptance of everyone, but we don't accept them to be part of it. So, so it's a dilemma, right?
It is.
You cannot invite them, but you accept the differences, which is good. But that's why we are not, because we're not too many. But it's not about quantity; it's about quality. So we should be proud of it and talk about it more, and mention why. Because I want to know why we don't accept anyone to come. Maybe we should. I don't know. Shall we ask this to the Sheikh al Druze if they can open up the Druze to include others? Because I have asked from many people that they would like to be Druze. And I say you cannot. So let's think about it.
Yeah. What a wonderful suggestion. So I have a question from also Attorney Yasser Shalati. And he said that today there's a kind of the word through the UN is a little bit saying that there was massacres against the Druze. So where those kind of reports goes after we if it's not political or there's no kind of so where usually those kind of reports can benefit minorities around the world that really faced a kind of persecution.
Yeah, maybe he's talking about the massacre that happened in the Druze in Sweden, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I was involved in that, and I was trying to I was very upset what's going on. I talked with so many people about it here because of these girls that were taken also. And we were trying to get them out, and it was very sad what's going on. These things should never happen. This kind of things should never happen, and it was that's why we have to talk more about those things. Why does it happen? Why did we arrive to that? What is the problem of continuing having massacres in this 21st century when it's something that's not acceptable? And we should be more vocal because it was not that known. It was known, but not enough. And I was trying to promote it more, to talk about it, especially here in Congress and in different places. Yeah, this is something that the United Nations should be doing. When I'm there, it will happen. It will not be happening again.
Exactly. So Said said, are there any UN councils or committees or forums that minorities, including Druze, should be participated in or participate in?
I didn't get the question. The voice went out.
Sure, sorry. So building on that, I have another question from Said, and he said that are there any UN councils or committees or forums that minorities like Jews should be a participant in?
I don't think they are. We should make them. That's a good idea. You see, this is why I need to have input of people that will come, and we can create those. This is kind of, instead of having duplicity of so many things, we have to have issues like this one, an institution, an agency that deals with those kind of things. Absolutely. That's a priority. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, there are more questions, but I will be really very conscious of your time. You gave us this time from your very, very busy schedule. So I know how you are busy right now and how you gave us this time. It's an honor to have you and to listen to you. In 3 minutes, I'd like you to, if you have something that I did not ask and you like to answer, or something that you like to add to the conversation, that will be great.
No, I want to thank you very much, Ashraf, and everyone that was there. And please, anyone that could help, I would love to meet with all of you. I like to really to connect with all the people that were listening. And if they have questions or suggestions that will help me when I will be presenting at the UN, this will be really, for me, that's what I will ask. I will ask questions that you have, like the one that you just asked about this new agency of minorities to solve problems that this will never happen again, what happened in Suaida. So this kind of things that are needed, and how can we, the Druze, work together to make it more known to the world? Why we are different, why we are, I mean, why we have something special, this wisdom that we spoke about. So I would like to have the input from your side, not just what I said, but what I can get from this meeting that we had. And I really loved talking with all of you. I wished I could see you all, and I hope to see you all soon.
Sure. If you like, we can have a follow-up, and we will have an open meeting just because we have a lot of people. And if we have all the pictures on on the screen, it will be very messy. So just we want, yeah. But if you'd like a follow-up meeting, if you like, if your time permits for that, it will be an honor to have you again with us. So on behalf of Druze Nexus, Nexus think tank, and Nexus Institute for Druze Studies, I'd like, and all the participants here, we'd like to thank you very much for coming today, for your vision that you shared with us. And we like to, all of us, hope you the best and success in your next adventure. And I believe all of us think that will be a great representative for all the people around the world, with all this intercultural understanding, love for humanities, and really being very accessible for people, ordinary people. So that will make a lot of differences around the world. So thank you again for your time. For our participants, we will have more webinars. Please join us in the future. And thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Great
Bye.
talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.